Welcome to Hollywood E-Exclusive. I am Rena Watanabe, and this is Carly Pearson, the lead actress in the upcoming movie, World War Phage, and Monifa Sawyer, our top specialist and scientist in her research surrounding this movie. So Carly, why don't you tell us a little bit about your role in the movie?
Yeah, okay. So in the film, I play the lead researcher in an effort to combat the spread of a lethal pathogenic bacteria. Pathogenic bacteria cells are basically microbes that are harmful to our health. And this bacteria infects humans in an airborne manner, meaning you can become infected just by breathing it in, which is obviously could be super detrimental. And in the movie, this bacteria actually becomes a global pandemic, infecting humans on a worldly scale. So my character, Dr. Emily M. Smeg, discovers a novel bacteriophage. They're also just called phages, and these are viruses that specifically kill bacteria. And she discovers this in Santa Monica.
Santa Monica Beach? I didn't know that a new organism could be discovered in such a touristy place.
Yeah, actually this location was selected because there's not been a lot of research done there, and it's actually a really biodiverse area. So yeah, we wanted to do that. Who knew Santa Monica was more than just a picturesque site to film movies?
Right, so speaking of movies, the last time you were in a movie, Carly, it was, I believe, Magic Mike XXL. That was almost 2 years ago.
It's been that
This movie, this movie is totally different from the last one, Magic Mike XL. So how did you decide to take on the lead role for this movie?
Magic Mike, yes, good times. So this time around, I just wanted to do something that contributed more to society, something that had an impact on the fields of public health and science. So this research is actually really important, and it could be groundbreaking in the way we treat bacterial infections and how scientists work on or alter bacteria on a broader scale. So for example, my character in the movie realizes early on that simply injecting humans with her novel phage to treat this lethal bacteria is not feasible, because after the phage kills the bacteria inside the human, this may cause a large immune response in the human body. Also, Dr. M. Smeg discovers that her bacteriophage has a large host range, which means that it can infect multiple different types of bacteria. So that could also be detrimental because it could end up infecting bacteria that's actually good for our bodies that we need, like bacteria that helps with immunity or digesting our food. So these are just some of the barriers that scientists like Dr. Sawyer have to overcome every day, and this is the main barrier that Dr. M. Smeg in the movie also has to overcome.
Wow, well, that's so great that you have an interest in the science field. So, Dr. Sawyer, now it's your turn. Could you explain to the audience a bit about your featured research for people, who are not really comfortable or don't really know some of the terminology used in the movie?
Okay, so basically viruses are very, very diverse organisms, and they are the most abundant organism on Earth. What's special about viruses is that they cannot replicate on their own and need bacterial or human cells machinery to survive. And in my research, we use a specific type of virus known as a bacteriophage, or phage for short. Carly already briefly mentioned that. And what phage do is that they're able to infect only bacterial cells. The phage-host bacterial relationship can be affected by numerous environmental factors such as temperature, pH, salinity, and the abundance of host bacteria. Also, phage can undergo 2 life cycles, lytic or lysogenic. The lytic cycle is when phage inject their genetic material into a bacterial cell and then it replicates in the host cell. After assembling, many more virus particles are present inside the host bacterial cell, and the phage are released from the cell by bursting the bacteria. On the other hand, the lysogenic cycle is when phage integrate their genome or their DNA sequence into the bacterial cell's genome. Some phages can undergo both lytic and lysogenic cycles, and those phage are known as temperate phages, and that is the focus of my research.
Alright, so what is your research specifically aiming for?
So, it is not yet known if temperate phages can be safely used for phage therapy. Usually we want to use lytic phages because they kill pathogenic bacteria as quickly and prolifically as possible. But in my lab, we study temperate phages and how different temperature and pH conditions produce optimal conditions for these temperate phage. My research tests the effects that pH and temperature independently and simultaneously have on bacterial persistence and bacteriophage growth, and how these conditions could switch the life cycle of the phage from lysogenic to lytic.
Wow, well, that sounds very complicated. I'm not sure if I followed all that. But anyways, I really didn't know how much research was involved in this movie. But yeah, how were you able to reenact all of this, Carly? I mean, it must have been very difficult.
Yeah, I mean, actually, it wasn't too bad because I did have Dr. Sawyer guiding me through the proper research techniques and procedures. Because doing experiments is like actually a workout. Like transferring the samples from one container to another, like my arms are tired after every scene. And in the movie there are a lot of scenes where my character goes through the experimental procedures, the actual procedures that Dr. Sawyer did in real life.
Interesting. So, that's the case. Can you talk about some important scenes or experiments that you actually remember from the movie?
The experiments that I do in the beginning of the movie are most crucial because they're involved in harvesting the bacteriophage. So this begins with isolating bacteriophages from the environmental sample my character gathers from the beach and collecting the phage. After all of this, my character realizes that this virus could successfully and perniciously infect the bacteria that is causing this outbreak, which may be beneficial to the human population at large. So she continues testing the phage, first by altering temperature at which the phage grows to try to find the optimal temperature, and then she tests the phage at different pHs and the effects that has on the phage, and then she tests them both simultaneously, temperature and pH. So she wants to find at which conditions the phage most adequately infects the pathogenic bacteria so that later she can discover how to most effectively treat patients who are infected with this bacteria.
So, I feel like research usually takes a long time to get actual conclusive data, right? So, I mean, I'm sure there are many, but what is one of the most challenging things that you encounter in your research?
One of the main challenges we face in my lab is controlling for confounding variables to ensure that experiments produce reliable and accurate results. Sometimes experiment trials do not work or they do not go as planned, and we have to test, retest, and repeat our experiments until we have enough trials and until we have results, good results that can, help us conclude. And further, with those results that we get, once we get them, we're able to publish that for hopefully making an impact on the scientific world and the health community.
Also, I learned that some of the stereotypes surrounding scientists are totally just incorrect. For example, being in the sciences, people think it's very rare to have an all-female group of scientists working on a single project because science research is normally a male-dominated field. However, Plaque, which is Dr. Sawyer's research team name, defies that norm. They are an all-female team coming from various cultural and academic backgrounds, and this makes their group unique.
All right, you seem to be really passionate about the movie.
Yeah, I am. I really want to bridge the gap between sciences and other fields. So scientists carry the stigma of being antisocial, which is highly inaccurate. So when I actually went to Dr. Sawyer's lab to get a sense of, a real research lab environment, and I saw scientists talking with each other, listening to music on Spotify while they're doing their work, and laughing over, random things that happens in all of our daily lives. And so that's when I realized that as scientists, that scientists' personalities are kind of overshadowed by their research. They really care about humankind as much or even more than an average person. And they're constantly finding new ways to better our daily lives. And with this movie, I hope to combat this overarching stereotype.
And Dr. Sawyer,
Yes.
you obviously are passionate about this too. It's about your vocation. So, what sparked your interest in this research?
Thinking back as a child, it was my dream to be a scientist and to work in a lab. During my time in college, I explored the realm of microbiology where I found my passion for studying microorganisms, particularly bacteriophage and their impact it can have medically and environmentally. I learned how important some of these phage are, and I learned the impact they can really have on us as humans and the world that we coexist with. They can be used for phage therapy, or they can help to clean up the environment, sometimes like when there's oil spills or if there's an invasive species. Phage can be used to help out with that. It's amazing how we can transform these phage to make them beneficial for us and for our planet.
I see. Is there a particular message that the viewers should get from the movie?
There is. Phage can be used to combat antibiotic resistance in bacteria, And it can be used to defeat pathogenic bacteria by interfering with the bacterial genome and transforming pathogenic bacteria to a non-pathogenic or beneficial one, which is beneficial for human health. And we hope that our research can further some of these things in the health world.
Amazing. Well, I'm very excited to see this movie when it comes out. Thank you to both of you for coming out on Hollywood E! Exclusive.
Yeah, of course.